The Legend of the Whiskey Ghost, Smoky Mountain Mysteries. The year was 1895, and the Smoky Mountains were cloaked in their usual veil of mist and mystery. The rugged terrain was home to a close-knit community of mountain folk who lived off the land and thrived on the craft of distilling whiskey. Hidden deep within the dense forest were countless stills, their locations guarded like sacred secrets. The golden liquor they produced was more than a livelihood. It was a source of pride and a testament to their resilience. That winter, strange happenings began to unsettle the mountain folk. Barrels of whiskey started disappearing from the stills. At first, it seemed like the work of rival bootleggers, but as the thefts continued, whispers of something more sinister began to circulate. The barrels vanished without a trace, leaving no tracks, no drag marks, and no signs of human interference. All that remained was an eerie, lingering scent of whiskey and the occasional sound of a faint, ghostly whistle carried on the wind. The first to report an encounter with the so-called whiskey ghost was Amos Callahan, a seasoned distiller known for his impeccable batches. One frosty February night, Amos stayed up late, guarding his still near Bear Claw Ridge. Armed with a rifle and a determination to protect his livelihood, he waited in the shadows. Just before dawn, a chill swept through the ravine, extinguishing his lantern. In the pitch black, Amos heard the unmistakable creak of a barrel being lifted. When he relit his lantern, moments later, the barrel was gone, and an unsettling silence filled the air. Word spread quickly, and the community was abuzz with tales of the whiskey ghost. Some claimed to have seen a shadowy figure lurking near the stills, moving like smoke through the trees. Others reported hearing laughter, a low, rumbling chuckle that seemed to come from nowhere and everywhere all at once. Jedediah Greer, a trapper with a penchant for exaggeration, swore he saw a man-shaped silhouette vanish into the fog near his operation. "It weren't no man," Jed insisted. "He moved like something out of this world." The elders, steeped in the region's folklore, were quick to offer an explanation. They believed the whiskey ghost was none other than the spirit of Elias Walker, a legendary woodsman and distiller who had met a tragic end decades earlier. Elias was said to have been a master craftsman, creating whiskey so fine it was sought after far beyond the Smokies. But jealousy and greed led to his downfall. According to the tale, Elias was ambushed by rivals who coveted his recipe, and his life was cut short in a violent altercation. The elders claimed his restless spirit had returned, unable to let go of the whiskey he loved so dearly. As the months passed, the legend grew. More barrels disappeared, each theft as inexplicable as the last. Some distillers tried to outwit the ghost, moving their stills to new locations or hiding their barrels in caves and hollows. But no matter how clever their precautions, the whiskey ghost always seemed to find them. Thefts were often accompanied by strange phenomena: lanterns flickering without cause, the howling of dogs at empty air, and an otherworldly chill that made the hair on the back of one's neck stand on end. Desperate to put an end to the mystery, a group of locals formed a whiskey watch. Armed with rifles and lanterns, they took turns guarding the stills, determined to catch the thief, or spirit, in the act. Among them were Amos Callahan and his son, Henry, who volunteered to watch over their operation one moonless night in July. The father and son hid in the shadows, their breaths clouding in the cool night air. Hours passed without incident until, just before dawn, they heard it. The faint sound of a whistle, haunting and melodic. Amos gripped his rifle tightly, his heart pounding. "Stay sharp, Henry," he whispered. The whistle grew louder, echoing through the ravine. Then an icy gust of wind swept through, extinguishing their lantern. In the darkness, they heard the creak of wood as a barrel was lifted. When they relit the lantern moments later, the barrel was gone, and all that remained was a faint swirl of mist drifting into the forest. By autumn, the whiskey ghost had become a fixture of mountain lore. Theories abounded. Some believed the ghost was real, a spectral figure bound to the mountains by unfinished business. Others insisted it was a clever thief using the legend as a cover. A few skeptics accused the distillers of fabricating the story to hide their own mismanagement or sales of the whiskey. Despite the differing opinions, one thing was certain. The thefts continued and the mystery deepened. The climax of the whiskey ghost's reign came in the spring of 1896 when the Phantom targeted the Lawson brothers, operators of the largest still in the region. The Lawsons were known for their vigilance and fierce tempers, and they swore to catch the culprit. On a misty April night, they concealed themselves near their operation, armed to the teeth and ready for a confrontation. As midnight approached, the forest fell eerily silent. The brothers waited, every nerve on edge, when a figure emerged from the fog. The silhouette was tall and indistinct, blending almost seamlessly with the mist. "Who's there?" shouted Eli Lawson, raising his rifle. The figure didn't respond but moved closer, its steps soundless. Panic surged through Eli, and he fired a shot, the crack echoing through the still night. When the smoke cleared, the figure was gone. The brothers searched the area but found nothing. No footprints, no blood, no sign that anyone had been there. Yet, when they returned to their still, 3 barrels were missing and the faint scent of whiskey lingered in the damp air. After that night, the whiskey ghost's appearances began to dwindle. By the end of 1896, the thefts stopped entirely, leaving the mountain folk to wonder if the spirit had finally found peace or if the mysterious thief had moved on. Despite the lack of new incidents, the legend endured. Campfires crackled with tales of the ghostly figure, and travelers passing through the Smokies often left with a shiver down their spines after hearing the story. To this day, the whiskey ghost remains a cherished piece of Smoky Mountain folklore. Some say it was merely a clever thief who knew the mountains better than anyone else, while others swear it was the restless spirit of Elias Walker. Hikers in the region occasionally report smelling whiskey on the breeze or hearing a faint whistle in the distance. And every so often, a barrel goes missing from a modern still, reigniting whispers that the whiskey ghost might not be so legendary after all. In the years following the whiskey ghost's disappearance, stories of similar hauntings emerged in neighboring regions. Appalachian travelers reported hearing tales of barrels vanishing under mysterious circumstances. The ghost's lore expanded, with many believing that Elias's spirit had taken to roaming farther afield, perpetually seeking the perfect brew. This wider spread of the legend only heightened its mystique. Folks began crafting songs and poems about the whiskey ghost, often performing them at gatherings or while tending their stills late into the night. One popular ballad told of a shadow that moved with the wind, whispering secrets to the trees and never leaving a single trace. By the early 1900s, Prohibition loomed, and distillers faced new challenges. Still, the story of the whiskey ghost remained. Moonshiners often invoke the legend as a symbol of rebellion, claiming the ghost was their eternal guardian, protecting their craft from prying eyes. To some, the ghost's antics served as a reminder of the importance of community, ingenuity, and the enduring spirit of the mountains. Elias Walker's name became a rallying cry among moonshiners, transforming him into a folk hero. Tales of his supposed ghostly escapades were retold with pride, each narrator adding their twist. While some spun yarns about barrels rolling uphill on their own, others insisted Elias's ghost could predict federal raids, leading to last-minute escapes. Whether fact or fiction, the whiskey ghost cemented its place in Appalachian culture. It represented the Smoky Mountains' mystery and resilience, the blurred line between myth and reality that defines life in the hills. And while the ghost's true nature may never be known, its story lives on in the hearts of those who cherish a good tale and a good drink.